Всем привет! Today we will be discussing how I managed to finish a chapter when I study Russian all by myself. I have 5 steps in this video, so you can follow them too. This video was requested by some of you and hope to make more of this kind of videos later on, so give this a thumbs up if you want more tips on how I study Russian by myself. Okay, I think we are ready to start, but let's get coffee first, because it is the first step of my studying. Oh, but actually today I made some milk tea because it was so hot. Okay, so the first step is to read the chapter out loud. I don't have an audio for the book, so I have to replace it with my own voice. So I always start by reading the chapter out, and if there is any hard words I don't know how to pronounce them, I mark them or write them down for later, and then I check how to pronounce them.
Да, это Оксана, моя сестра. А кто Оксана и Саша? Что они делают?
So as you may hear from the previous clips, it is not always easy, and for the longer words it takes a lot of time to actually be able to read them and pronounce them faster out loud. But little by little we can get there. I believe in you and I believe in myself, so just keep going, and practice makes perfect. Or if not perfect, at least you will get understood, and I think that is the most important part. After reading the chapter in Russian, I should have some kind of idea what happened in the chapter, but as we all know, usually every chapter has its own theme and own new things to learn. It can be things like verbs, grammar, days, and so on. This one had family vocabulary and how you talk about your family, so I make sure I understand everything, and I also translate them to Finnish out loud, because Finnish is my first language if you didn't know. I also like to write down every hard sentences and words and also translate them onto my notebook. This way I also learn more how to write. And as you can see in the clips, I use my book to translate the chapter, and I use the vocabulary list that every chapter has, and then there is also a list of words in the back of the book. Grammar is usually the part everyone hates. I go by how the book is made, so grammar is next. For me, since I am only reviewing everything I learned last summer, I find it easier just to read them, but if there is something I find hard, I write them down. I always write down, so it is easier to go back to every hard part. If the grammar is totally new thing to me, I write down and mark every part with colors, like verbs with color yellow, people with purple, and so on. This helps me a lot. I write in Finnish why some of the words are on this form. Russian has a lot of different endings for words for different occasions, and those are really hard for me to learn. That is why I need to explain them in Finnish. After grammar, translating and reading a lot, I usually need to have a break. Then I do the tasks, or maybe it will be the next day I do the tasks, but the tasks are the next step. If there is conversations with a partner, I do them out loud sometimes, but usually I just skip them. Then there are different types of tasks you are supposed to write. I do them and I write all the sentences down, not only the missing word it might be asking. This also helps me a lot with reading and writing. Tasks are the most useful way for me to learn, especially for the vocabulary, so I put extra effort on them. And again, if there is something I need to translate, I do it. I do it by using the back of the book. And hard words or sentences, write them down and translate them. I also like to mark with a dot or some kind of highlighting pen the hard words so I can go back to them. So, as I mentioned earlier, at the end of every chapter there is a vocabulary list. I read them and again, as always, write down the hardest words. I recommend doing some tests for yourself about the vocabulary. Do the test for yourself, for example, writing the word in Russian or your native language, and after a week or so, do the test and translate the words. If you cheat, you only cheat yourself. Then check it and review the ones you didn't get right. Good thing is that you can take your own test as many times as you need to. One thing I also want to mention is flashcards, so you may find that they do the same thing for you as tests, so try those if you feel like it could help you. I hope these 5 steps will help you to go through your chapter. I will talk more about different ways to learn language later, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for staying with me and supporting, and if you haven't already, make sure to click the subscribe button. Пока!